That'll work. Alright, let's just make sure I'm closed out of everything, because I don't want there to be anything in the way. And honestly, let's just go ahead and close out of the dock for now. If I need to open it later, I can. Close out of Discord. Alright. So I guess I'll just go ahead and get started then. What's up, guys? You can tell it's a special occasion because I have a mic stream today. But luckily, the guy I was waiting on for maintenance actually finished up pretty early, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into this. Depending on how long it's going to take, I was potentially going to stream stories first, but I'm in more of a creative mood right now, so let's just go for it. So before I get going on this, I feel like I should probably explain what's going to be happening for the next, 4 hours or so. So I'll just go ahead and type the command, but in case people come in later and want to learn it, here, just go ahead and type that as the command. But basically, this is a design challenge set by Atari2. He's a fellow creator in the Mario community. He's done a lot of the race levels and stuff, and a bunch of other things too, I guess. But he has a design challenge where basically he wants you to kind of prepare a level ahead of time and then just try to design as much of the level as possible, or a full level basically, in 4 hours. Basically the rules are at the end of the 4 hours you slap an orb or goalpost down wherever you're at, and that's kind of just the end of the level pretty much. So I think it'll be fun because, as you may or may not notice, I do stream a lot of Lunar Magic stuff, but it's not super fast paced most of the time. The only time I'm going to be pausing for this are when I have to switch laundry around, because I have laundry going, and if I need to take a smoke break or a lunch break or something. But I will not be working on the level outside of the timer, which is why I actually have a timer going for this. Normally I don't really care to time my Lunar Magic stuff, because that seems to put pressure on my building for some reason. But I'm going to do it this time because I want to see what I can slap down in 4 hours, basically. So kind of previewing it before I get into it. I don't really have a song picked out for this level yet, but as you can tell, I kind of have a theme of clouds and stuff. Kind of just previewing some of the sprites I have available in this one. I decided to go with a lot of platform stuff. Mostly because I wanted an orb, honestly, but also because I like these checkerboard platforms. These little brown platforms on chains look nice here too, I guess. So stuff like that, I guess, is kind of what I'm going to theme the level around. And I guess technically speaking, these foreground clouds up here are designing the level ahead of time, but they're not really meant to do anything more than just kind of be a guide to where the top of the screen is. They have priority on, so they basically act as the treetop cover, but as clouds. I don't know. I liked it, so. So I guess I might as well just start the timer, right? Alright, so we're on. So the one thing I really wanted to do with this is kind of just force myself to build flow, and flow first. I may potentially be at the point, honestly, where I'm just going to build everything down into concrete as ground and stuff, and then just kind of pretty it up later, because there's no rule against going back to touch up the level as far as I know visually. You're just not supposed to design anything outside of those 4 hours. So map 16 is on page A. That might actually be kind of cool to see what it's like to stack those at one point, but let's not trip about that for now. I think those are the weird death blocks. Let's just use regular ass munchies. I don't need anything fancy in this level. Alright, so I will be using my base ROM for Bunbun World for this. So already want to do something like that, so I guess it would make sense to try to grab like a throw block or something up there. I have throw blocks, right? Yeah. Alright, so probably maybe like right there or so. Do I have dig? I do have digging chucks here. Like I said, I'm gonna touch up the graphics of this later, but I kind of just want to build it out first, especially since I'm kind of on a time crunch here for the first time like ever. So I already don't really love that these concrete blocks are such a close color, so I guess this is technically on the clock, but let's desaturate these. That'll be fine for now. I'll, again, make this look prettier later. What's up, yeah, me? And, so, technically, I guess this is a design speedrun. I guess I didn't really think of it like that, but it's a decent way to think about it. But really, it's just kind of more of a design challenge to see if I can try to get stuff on paper fast. Yeah, what's up, guys? How you doing? Is this awful? This might be awful, but let's see. Yeah, it's awful. Okay. So might not actually be bad if I scoot this over, put this here, and then that like there or something, because then you can just slide down the wall. So kind of talking about this challenge a little bit more while I'm designing here. As far as I know, the only people to do this are Atari 2 and Megascott, the creator of Akagari World. Alright, so that actually works pretty well. So let's roll with that for now. And I kind of like that you have to do it fast, otherwise there's going to be a bunch of digging chucks in the way here. So I don't think I really need anything past like there for making it so you can't jump on that guy. Just to be sure, I'll just go ahead and put a couple launchers right here. I don't really think this actually matters, but so, I mean, the goal is to make a Kaizo level, but I also kind of still want to make like a fun flow level, so I'm going to try as hard as I can to still make something that's like creative, hopefully. So one of the main things I really wanted to do with this level, and something I actually kind of prepped the palette like specifically for here, I made little cloud fuzzies that I'm pretty excited about. I mean, I didn't make them, I basically just inverted the colors on them. But I kind of thought it might be sort of fun to design almost like an ultra fuzzy, I guess. Not like exactly an ultra fuzzy, but at least some like ultra fuzzy segments between like hopping between platforms and stuff. Which way are you going? Currently set to the left. Alright, so I think I'm gonna need to move you like over here to get you to more spawn when you're like right here, because I don't want this thing to spawn randomly. Munchers down in map 16 because for some reason they're not there. You know what? I guess that means we're using these ones again. Background anyway, so oh yeah, okay, Bob. Thanks, dude. I got an emote thanks to that? What? Okay. I guess I will add that, but thank you very much, K-Bomb. I hope you have a good day at work. That's a weird fucking emote that I apparently got from you cheering bits to me, but thank you. Hope your day's going well. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how this flows. I'm actually not gonna lie, I don't actually 100% really know how to use fuzzies. Oh, whoops. It's very important to save your map 16. Save. Okay. So I think this actually like isn't gonna work because this fuzzy's just gonna be going on the bottom. So I'm gonna need something like this. Okay. So I think that'll fix that. So the problem I was originally going to have is I think the fuzzy was only going to go around the bottom part, but now since it's set to go right, it should go like this and around, which is what I kind of wanted here. I don't know if this positioning is 100% right, but it should be okay. So I can already tell that I'm going to want to move all of this over. I mean, I guess honestly there's nothing really stopping me from doing that or that. Back him up a little bit because I just didn't want the rock to like clip into the wall here, but I think this should be okay. Good news is it works, bad news is that fuzzy comes in hot. So let's go ahead and drop him down by 2. And honestly, I don't love that this guy spawns off screen, because I kind of like it being very clear what you're just supposed to do on this first one, and I feel like it sort of muddles it up a little bit if you don't actually see the digging chuck until he's like throwing stuff at you. I guess just to make sure you can't jump on this guy. I don't think this will actually matter, but it looks a little better anyway, I think. Okay. So, good news is all this works so far, which is nice. I do... Well, actually, if I'm doing all this, why don't I just... I think this will actually work. So the only thing that sucks about having to do a mic stream like this is I don't have my USB splitter right now. So I have to basically choose between my microphone, my mouse, like my regular Logitech mouse that I normally design with now, or my Super Nintendo controller. And obviously if I'm testing a speed design in 4 hours, I need to be playtesting it too, so... Okay. So I still think there's like some fine-tuning that I can do here, but I'm liking the flow of this so far. I don't really want to make this first fuzzy ride super long. So I think what Glitch ended up doing when he was doing ultra fuzzy stuff is he basically just had you stall on fuzzies until you were able to actually go through stuff. Alright, so unfortunately I have all of this like cool line guided stuff, but I can't actually use any of it, I think. Because I don't have any of the lines really, so... I think this might work though. here. And then that'll probably be a good spot for a break, I think, because that's kind of... I mean, it's not like the most intense flow, but it seems like a good spot for one anyway. So let's go ahead and test that out. I gotta say, this is actually, at least so far, going a little bit better than I expected it to. Okay, so unfortunately that timing's not gonna work out that way. So... what if I extended this by another 2? So if the goal is to okay, so I think this might work. I'm gonna have to make sure this actually is consistent with timings and stuff. But as of right now, it seems like it should be okay. And I should probably add a launcher there so you can't just like see what's happening with this fuzzy stuff. Okay. I do kind of like keeping that throw block. Alright, let's see if we can keep this. Because that sort of actually puts a little bit of pressure on getting that spin jump faster. Can you kick this up like you can in the bullet bill tunnel, or is that not as easy here? That actually doesn't seem as easy here. Okay, so what if I... lower all this, put a muncher here, and then maybe put this up like 1. honestly, this timing is probably not going to work out, because this seems like it's pretty far to take this block. I could potentially need to turn this into a shell, but then that turns kind of into its own set of issues. And especially if the turn block will kill the fuzzy, that's not good. Technically I need to do this, otherwise you can ride all these fuzzies all the way up. It won't actually really matter, I think, because you can't get up here, but I guess you could ride this one all the way up to here theoretically, so... I guess it might be kind of cool, actually, to, instead of turning off of that, to turn off another dig and chuck, because I'm pretty sure you can keep your spin bounce going here while you're waiting for the fuzzy to come up here, and I can just delay that slightly. Probably just gonna have to make sure that this block is here, probably. It's a little redundant, I guess, but it also makes sure that the block goes away there. The chuck is honestly kind of useless there now, beyond just sort of forcing it a little bit faster. But that's okay. I can probably get another block here too. There's not really a need to make it more annoying than it has to be, right? Alright. Alright, so this is the only problem with that part already, which I guess technically isn't a problem because you still do it the way I want you to, but it is not as interesting if you can one-cycle it. Hey Yuri, yeah, so I've kind of actually been working on Bunbun 2 basically since Bunbun 1 was done, more or less. Like, I didn't really take much of a break at all, really. So I've been kind of working on it for a little while. I took a couple weeks off to work on some race stuff, which I'm not allowed to talk about, but I'm pretty excited about. But until that stuff gets done, obviously I still want to design in the meantime. So I decided to do the 4-hour challenge by Atari. If you want to use the command in the title, you can kind of learn a little bit more about it. So I guess the way to fix... Probably something like this, maybe? So, the problem, unfortunately, is this is about as close as I can possibly get to my microphone truth be told, I just really need a new microphone at this point. I got this back in like Christmas of like 2015 or 2016. And I used to use it for all of my Pokemon like post-com stuff. So I used to be able to just hold it like directly to my mouth. But obviously I'm using my hands a little bit more in Mario than I was in Pokemon, so. Okay. So I think raising this wall actually fixes this, because now you can't just like try to one-cycle this. Yeah. So that might actually work. I guess part of the problem now that I'm noticing though is that I need to make these fuzzies like gray and not white. Maybe even more gray than that. I think that'll be okay. So I just needed to make them a little bit more gray so they sort of stood out more than just their face against the mist in the background, I guess. But I think this will work. And I think if I give just a little bit more of a stall right here, all of this should be okay. I guess I don't need like that big of a landing spot. Three should be fine. And then just delete whatever this is, because I don't know what's happening there. So I think this is working out well. And sorry if I didn't ask, but how are you doing today, Yuri? Sorry, I'm a little into this design stuff, and honestly, not very used to actually talking on stream. So I'm a little bit better at chatting people up by text most of the time. Yeah, okay. So I think this is gonna work. Kind of one of the only things that sucks about this setup as is though is that you're technically landing on this swinging platform as it's like off screen, but I guess it's also not like, it's not really the end of the world because it's kind of always there. Ooh, this time it is interesting. I think possible, but difficult. I was not expecting that big of a ricochet off that guy. So I think this will actually work if I... Encoding overload? Are you okay, stream? You're okay now? Okay. So I think this will actually work if I move all of this over one. Even maybe extend this to like here. Actually, I could just do this and just take away the fuzzy here. Let's just move these ceiling munchers all the way over. I'm not really sure why these weren't ceiling munchers, but that's okay. Okay. Actually, I think I can probably afford to do this. Shit, I gotta switch around laundry. Okay. I'll go ahead and do that after this playtest then, yes. I might even need to move this right one more, honestly. Alright, so all that seems to work pretty well. I might actually be able to reuse that chuck again. That might not be the worst idea. So before I leave, to switch around laundry. Something like that, probably. Will be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the timer because I'm gonna go switch around laundry really quick, but honestly, I feel like this level's coming along pretty dang well so far. So let me slap up BRB, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so it's gonna be a second because apparently our dryer broke, so I had to take out everything out of the dryer and washer, and I'm gonna have to air dry it. So it's probably gonna be like 10 minutes or so. Just sit tight. Sorry about this, but it should be the last big break. Okay, so that needs to be over like 2 more, potentially. Boop, boop. Which means this needs to be over at least 1 more. Which means this needs to be over 2 more. Okay. That should be okay. Okay, so then if I just put this right here. This honestly still feels like it needs to be over to like there. But I guess he's always just gonna run to right here and stop, right? Yeah, so it looks like he's always going to run to right there and stop until you bounce off of him, but you should be able to swing this platform over at least enough to catch it potentially, is the idea. Ah, shit, that might work. I'm almost wondering if I should just make this ground flush so you hit the chocolate tile higher. I don't know why I've been having such bad encoding overloads today. Hopefully it's not gonna show up in the VOD. Ah. Okay, so it does work. I might need to give you another room of tile to, like, give the brown platform a little bit more momentum, though. But I do think this is working out pretty well. And this platform seems pretty forgiving, so I actually don't mind how far off screen you get. Because really, as long as you ride that fuzzy at all, you're fine, so... For some reason, I keep forgetting to spin jump off of this. So I guess while I'm at it, I might as well give you a little bit more room to do that. Maybe even another... I mean, honestly... Seems like this should work pretty well. Maybe I'll move this over just to make sure you can't do some hella funky regrab to... I don't know. The odds are very minimal that you could do a regrab off of this, off to a falling chuck and get over here, but... People have done crazier shit in Mario World, I guess, so... Oh, that's hella possible. Okay. I might even be able to actually move that landing spot more right. I'll play with that a little bit, but that's a pretty fun move, at least. Oh yeah, that's free. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. And just move it over a little bit farther. And I mean, honestly, we could use this too, right? After looking at this for a little bit longer, I've decided that I want this background to be a little less purple and a little bit more blue. So, let's see how that looks. I forgot to see how long that was for timing purposes, but I'm kind of feeling like one more obstacle chain before a midway should be fine. Probably another ultra fuzzy bit, I guess. That would make most sense, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Maybe move that back left one, just because it's still a tight jump, and you're not going to be able to do some funky regrab off of the chuck all the way over there. You definitely need to land on the platform first, so. And honestly, if you manage to do some funky regrab off of this to the point where you get on there, then like good for you, I guess. Because like at that point you probably deserve it. I don't really need these bunchers right here. I'll just make that a one-tile gap. Just keep it a little bit cleaner, I guess. Alright, so if we're doing another ultra fuzzy bit here, let's get the fuzzy going like here-ish. I'm gonna need it to be going right. So it's probably gonna go right here. There are odds of this being terrible, but it could also be kind of cool. So if I'm gonna do this, I actually probably need to move this over, like just to make sure you can't trigger it right here, because it sort of kills the obstacle if you have to trigger it early, I guess. Although honestly, I don't mind you being able to respawn this right here, so maybe even that this might work, I think, for spacing it out. Alright, so we're 25% of the way in, and honestly I'd say we're pretty on pace for at least 25% of the level. Potentially even near midway here pretty soon. Fuzzy loop back. I think this fuzzy might loop back around actually, which would make this even easier. Okay. That's not bad to do, honestly. Positioning of it's a little awkward. So what I might do is, again, I might just move this over 2. Sport this to be a regrab, I guess, across this gap. I don't normally force like huge regrabs like that, but I think I need the spacing here. I guess I wouldn't really be worried about it respawning stuff necessarily if I had somewhere for it to go right here. So let's just build this out. And if this isn't exactly the way it stays.
The Super Mario Bros. Series is the most famous and iconic video game series of all time. And I want to share the history of Mario with you guys today through its music. But I'm going to need a little help from some friends.
So this seems super minor, but I think this right here basically forces you to do the quick hop over to this fuzzy, instead of just writing his initial fuzzy over there. I mean, I guess, like, technically, I don't really care if you, like, sit here and wait and see the cycles for this stuff. It probably won't work for this one because it's going to be going off screen, but I don't really mind for this one anyway. And I kind of like that you have to wait under the rock there because it sort of naturally forces the timing of waiting on the fuzzy anyway. And I don't think the fuzzy coming back eventually will fuck anything up. I guess in the absolute final draft of this, I probably am going to want some kind of sprite killer blocks along the way, off screen or something. But whatever. I'm not going to be able to DG's absolutely everything in 4 hours, so... Whew, that is a tough regrab, and that fuzzy's still going. Okay. So if I scoot this all over one more, and then scoot this fuzzy over two, it should probably be a little bit better. So you won't ever actually hit these munchers, I think. But it'll look a little bit scarier, and it'll prevent you from swinging out a little bit farther on this. But honestly, after this is feeling pretty good, so I should probably just get to that and put an arrow here. Because this is starting to feel like the last chain before midway anyway. But it might be cool to keep this fuzzy going, or do another fuzzy transfer, because I actually kind of like transferring between the fuzzies here. Alright, and I think it's officially time to make this flush. Which, actually, I believe means I can raise all of this. Which makes all of that even more flush, too. Which means I can raise this, which means I can raise that, which makes that jump easier. So, that actually worked out pretty well, I think. Okay, so you can't die to it on the way back, so that means I should raise this at least one. And honestly, I should probably try this just like this, because I think that might actually be better for this jump, is to not have the muncher there. And then okay, so it's still a hard jump, which is good. I might turn the priority off on these clouds up here, because I like them, but it is a little obnoxious that they're that in the way. I wasn't expecting to really have to be at the top of the screen as much as I have been, I guess. Let's do that now before I forget. Alright, so let's just turn all of these priority off. Also, it's way better with this priority off on these clouds where they're just like part of the background, so. I guess I could find a way to use another throw block throw, too. Yeah. Alright, so that jump is still pretty tight, actually. Let's go ahead and just lower it out. Which I think means I can just lower this back. Oh, no, I can't, because... You don't even need the guy again? Okay. I wish this fuzzy didn't start so fast. So maybe I can do this, and that'll force you to at least do the jump that I want you to do. Forces you up to the fuzzy a little bit faster. Okay. I'm about at the point of needing a smoke break, which probably means that I'm gonna need like one more jump here. What else to use? Actually, I could just do something like this. And this forces you to ride the fuzzy until like here, get ahead of the fuzzy, and then basically free it before it goes off path. I don't want you to have to like keep this throw block for very long. Actually, let's just keep this simple too. Why isn't this just a pipe? This is feeling pretty good for the first half. Let's go ahead and test it out a little bit. Maybe I could even work on visuals for a little bit. Probably rather just go into the second half of this level, though, I guess. Yo, thanks, Brandon. I hope your hack's going pretty well. If you want a little bit of information about the design challenge I'm doing right now, you can check out the command from the title that should still be there. But yeah, this is definitely an ultra fuzzy-esque level. It's not like a straight ultra fuzzy, I guess, but it definitely has more fuzzy writing moments than I've probably had in levels before, I think. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a good Friday. Yeah, it is. I'm super happy I already thought of it, honestly, because it's a pretty fun way to spend 4 hours, honestly. I was a little nervous at first because I was like, well, I really don't want to go into this challenge and just like completely blank on an idea. So I ended up spending a decent amount of time last night just trying to think of a theme and stuff. It took a couple hours to come up with a theme, honestly, that I was happy with, but once I was playing around with fuzzy colors and inverted these fuzzies, they looked like little clouds, and then I was like, well, I could just do a cloud level, because I haven't really done one of those before, and it kind of turned into this, and honestly, it's pretty cool, I think. I haven't really seen a Super Mario World level that looks quite like this. I also edited the background a little bit more to make it look a little more cloud-like and a little less foresty, but I'm pretty excited about it so far. I don't really know what the second half is going to look like, but this is already better than I was expecting the first half to look like in this 4-hour stuff. I probably would have been doing a little bit better at this if my dryer didn't like stop working halfway through, but that's okay. I was trying to do laundry while I was working on this level, and then all of a sudden my dryer just decided to stop working. Alright, so I don't like that you can get 2 bounces and then break this setup. So I think I can fix that if I do this. pretty solid first 5 screens of this level. Feeling like a pretty decent spot for a midway, honestly, but I kind of just want to play it out for a little bit more. I'll probably give this a good like 10-15 minutes of playtesting before I start. I'm trying to not use save states while I playtest. It's not like rules, but it's just kind of like a personal rule of mine, I guess. Because I'd rather test this from the beginning and iron out a little bit of jank if I can, such as this. Bunbun credits song. I think that's the first time I've ever actually used that bottom throw block too, so it kind of makes me feel a little bit better about including it. Now that officially happened, I was waiting for that to happen before I changed that to a muncher, but now that it happened, it's kicking. And honestly, I kind of want to put this coin back over here to force you to get over here as soon as possible. That's tricky now, but honestly, kind of makes that a little bit more of a challenge in a good way, I think. Oh yeah, that's way better. It's also not really that difficult, but just tricky enough. Honestly, I guess I don't really care if you do that stall jump. It's just as hard as that might be. The problem with this is you can get hella flat out of the fuzzy here. feel like I'm running out of juices a little bit, but I don't know. I definitely recommend this challenge to like any creator who kind of needs to a little bit of a change of pace, I guess, because it's kind of interesting just to force myself to keep throwing down obstacles instead of just playtesting the segment over and over again. Because to be perfectly honest, like in an average design stream, I'd probably get like half of this done and just playtest it a lot, instead of just trying to get it all done and just playtest it as I go. So it's been fun. Definitely recommend it. And I hope that you're having a good Friday. So the one thing I guess I will say is I don't want to say it's like stressful to stream it, but I feel like it is adding a little bit more pressure than potentially normal. That's okay, YouTube, I didn't want to listen to the song anyway. I'm glad it interrupted me to remind me of YouTube Premium being a thing though, as if I could possibly forget. But yeah, honestly, like, I was a little nervous to get into it because Mega Scott's the only person that's actually done it besides Atari. Also, I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my own music because YouTube is not working very well right now. But yeah, Atari and Mega are the only people, as far as I know, that have even done it so far. And I don't think either of them streamed their challenge, so I kind of wanted to just do it and see what would happen. It's been fun, but I would maybe recommend doing it off stream potentially, depending on how comfortable you are with stuff, I guess. Let's go ahead and also I'm gonna count this as timer on the clock because I guess technically this is timer on the clock. I'm just trying to find music. I guess I should probably try to find music that's not going to get me muted, because that's sort of important for this one. While I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and pack a bowl, because I was going to do this anyway, but never mind, it loaded faster than I thought. Alright. Okay, so stream should be calming down now, hopefully. Okay. I'm going to assume that stream is back to normal now that I have my own music going in VLC. So I guess I'll just get back to testing and stuff. I was planning on taking a break at the 2-hour mark, so I'll just wait until then. Hopefully that'll coincide with me being done with this segment. I might actually be able to move this over to here, and that might actually be a little less annoying than it is now. guess I could put munchers down there and force that more specific jump, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if you spin jump here, wait for this to fall, and then that chuck falls down to there, yeah, you could get... Yeah, that seems worth doing. That's not the easiest maneuver anyway. Just add this in here. And I think that allows me to condense that back down over there. I could actually probably add even more on there. Okay, so you can just go back, despawn this, and respawn it, I guess. It's still not perfect timing for that. So I guess that means, technically speaking, I could probably move all of this. Hey Kermie, what's up? Welcome to the 4-hour challenge, I guess. I'm a little under halfway done, and it looks like I'm just about done with the first segment, so it seems like it's lining up well. But how are you doing today? Also, if you're wondering why the timer for the stream does not line up necessarily with the timer of the actual timer, it's because I had a bit of a disaster with my dryer while I was trying to do laundry while on stream, and our dryer kind of broke, so I had to like get all our clothes out of the dryer and lay them out all over our house. So it's probably going to be more of like a 4.5-hour stream, potentially like a 5-hour stream, depending on how long that break is. But yeah, okay. So this should just be okay. Yeah, that's an easy despawn, respawn thing. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so unfortunately the problem with this mic and the problem with me streaming with a mic most of the time is that my mic is extremely quiet because this is literally the closest I could possibly bring it to my face. And this is me sitting on the floor with my laptop on the table, like with a bunch of stuff moved out of the way. Someday I will have a little bit more of a headset so I can actually have a microphone where I talk at a normal volume. But that day is not today, unfortunately. One of the many reasons why I normally don't stream with a mic, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, the mic is, as far as I know at least, boosted as far as it can be. I don't actually know, honestly, but like I'm pretty sure I looked into every setting that I could possibly do for it, and it just won't get any better. Also, I'm kind of naturally a more quiet talker than a loud talker. Like, I have my moments where I can kind of explode loudly, but for the most part, I'm pretty quiet. Yeah, okay, it's actually not that bad. And I might just scoot this over. I think I might have room to scoot this over another 2. just enough that you're able to catch it most of the time, right? Okay. And then all I would really need to do is this. Just to make sure that this fuzzy can't just take you to the goal right here, because that's not the point of that fuzzy. I guess you can't really see exactly what I was doing, so let me scroll that over here. So I'm working on the end screen right now, and basically the goal of it, since I haven't actually gotten there yet, is to ride this fuzzy up here, through this segment down here, free it by grabbing this throw block right here and kicking it at this thing, which will free the second fuzzy. I don't honestly know what the timing for this is gonna look like, but basically free this fuzzy as it comes down here. I may potentially add a little bit of a stall area. Where is that at, Brandon? Because I thought I had that, but now that's not looking super familiar. I'm using OBS, not Streamlabs. I have Streamlabs stuff like in OBS, but OBS does not run on my computer like at all. That said, it looks like I can up the gain like this. Oh. Okay. So I'm gonna up that 2 decibels. It looks like it's already pretty loud. So thank you, Brandon. I don't know why I never actually saw this before. I don't want to make it like super loud without looking at my stream first, but let's pause this because this is sort of something that is important. But I think that already upped it a decent amount. I'm just going to be talking with it at 2. Alright, so let me up it to 3. Test at 3. I might as well make it up to 4. I think 4 should be okay. Okay. So let's assume 4 is okay. I assume you guys can hear me a little bit better now. So I guess the first 2 hours of this are going to have very quiet audio, but shoutouts to Brandon for teaching me how to up the gain, finally. Honestly, I thought I had already upped the gain as much as I could, and then I saw that there was a way to up it more. Memes aside, upping it to almost 7 may not be the worst idea, because it's still probably quiet. Let me know if I need to up it more, I guess, but I'll just roll with it at whatever I set it to for now. Alright, so good news is I think this fuzzy bit will work. at that staircase, it basically should take twice as long to get where it's trying to go, because instead of just going straight, it has to go up and then straight. So I think that'll give you enough time to catch it. I'll still leave that respawn there, I guess. But maybe I can add a Kaizo or something if you're trying to respawn, because I do not necessarily care about Kaizos as much in this game as I did in the last game. I'm still not going to litter like every single level with them, but I've already had a couple of Kaizos in Bunbun 2, so might as well go with it, I guess. Okay, this is feeling pretty good now, though. Like, you can one cycle everything, but you can also respawn some stuff if you need to. You can still actually probably make that even without the chuck, but it is a lot harder now. And definitely if you make it now without the chuck, you deserve it. The only problem with the staircase now is basically by the time you get here, this fuzzy is like in the staircase. So I actually probably want it to spawn like here. Okay. So, good news is this works the way I want it to. I feel like a lot of players are probably going to die on that first attempt there, but I feel like it's not super hard to learn the regrab for it. So, depending on how long it takes me to playtest this part, I might actually slightly shorten the ending, just to make sure that I have enough time to get to the second half at the 2-hour mark. I'm probably gonna stop the timer at the 2-hour mark and set up the second half of the level, because I didn't actually set up a second half, technically. And I mean, I guess I could just make it a secondary exit and come back into this level again. That might be easier, actually, so I don't have to set up an entire other level, now that I'm thinking about it. cutting that in will still force you to ride the fuzzy down before going over to here. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this dig and chuck, because I can already tell that is gonna be a nightmare to test. And since I have not even gotten here yet, I should not be buffing this. And then this spot I wanted... to force you to run on it for at least a second. I just wanted to make sure that you couldn't actually just jump straight up there off the chuck, because I realized I hadn't tested that yet. Maybe I should give you a little bit more time to get ahead of this. I really wish throw blocks did not occasionally kill fuzzies, because I would just put a couple of rocks up here and force you to use it as, like, a way to clear your way to the pipe. But I don't think that's really gonna work. Alright, so we're at the 2-hour mark now. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a section. I'm gonna officially go on break real quick and smoke really quick, just because I haven't actually gotten to smoke in a second. But I feel like we're doing pretty well so far. I wasn't really expecting to make an ultra fuzzy, I guess. Like, I was expecting to use fuzzies, but I wasn't really expecting to use an ultra fuzzy. But that's cool. It ended up being a pretty well flowing level, I guess. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get some coffee, go to the bathroom, pack a bowl, and get a pillow to sit on, because turns out sitting on the ground is really fucking uncomfortable. So let's just go ahead and slap the timer back on. I do sort of want to test this ending just a little bit more, because I don't love the positioning of everything right now. Like, I feel like it's just off by, like, just a little bit. Shoot, that's not gonna work. I guess it doesn't actually matter. I'm gonna have this be basically just a blank screen to get through, and then screen 7 is gonna start the second half. I need to save this for later. I think that's better. I was a little nervous that this ending was going to be, honestly, a little bit too hard for me to be able to test out fully. So, nerfing it's probably a good call. It's a lot easier now, but whatever, that's the point of nerfing, I guess. So, good news is, I can actually probably still do this. And then all I really need to do to make sure that fuzzy doesn't come back is just do that and loop all the way around the level. Make this a little bit more tolerable. It might make it a little bit uglier, I guess, but I'm gonna focus more on function over form in this level. be honest, this is a pretty... Maybe I'll wait on that for now, actually, because this isn't really that difficult of a double or anything. That said, I do want to make sure that you can't just, like, spawn one of these rocks and jump up there. Should still do what I want it to do. Just be a bit cleaner of an ending, I guess. Let's go ahead and officially designate secondary exit 0, destination level 126. Shoutouts to learning how to do that very recently, because secondary exits are a fucking godsend. And I'll just go ahead and make it very clear. Midway, graduation. So let's actually probably put this more in like the middle, because I want this background when you come out of here to be like half of this top clouds and half of the bottom clouds to kind of make it like you went up in the clouds a little bit more, I guess. Okay. Bottom. I'll need to play around, obviously, with the positionings of where this exit actually takes you. Like, just to make sure that the camera's not, like, super fucky or whatever, but I think it'll be okay for now. If it's 2:15 and I have not made it to the segment I'm going to test, I'm going to try to use save states. Until then, I will avoid that because I still want to test out the consistency of all this. long, so let's actually give you a ceiling. This is actually a helpful ceiling, believe it or not, because it should make it so you're able to get onto the fuzzy faster. Let's just give you an extra tile working room here. So the good news is all this works pretty well. Normally don't do this. So the shitty thing is you don't have to carry it for that long, but this fuzzy and this turn block do not seem to get along that well. So also, it looks like it doesn't start to spawn until I actually start to run off this jump. So I could potentially just make that a 1-tile landing instead of a 3-tile landing. Tossing it up like that might be a better idea. So let's go ahead and make those tweaks to the ending because I think that'll be okay. Do this. Raise this one. But give you more ceiling to work with. And just delete these clouds. For the first time, those clouds are actually in the way. I think this will be okay if I just space it out like this instead of how I had it before. Unfortunately, now I have to load up through the entire thing because this is why I hate using save states in the level. A smart person would have probably found the fast forward key for all this. I do want to get going on the second half by 2.5 hours, so if I'm not there by then, I'm probably just going to go for it. Let me exit out of this. Save state. I added an extra tile of landing room here. I didn't, but I didn't save. Okay. Alright. Also gonna do something I normally never do. Where's Mario's entrance on here? Why am I not seeing it in Lunar Magic? He's entering from right there, but I don't actually see like where he is. Use right here. Okay, I can see the secondary exit fine, but I can't see where Mario is. And that's gonna be an issue because I just accidentally changed the starting thing. I'm gonna pause the timer because this isn't like level design stuff, really. This is just me trying to troubleshoot really quick. I'm not really sure where my starting location is now because I can't see my Mario sprite. I don't know if anyone's around right now, but if you have any idea of what's going on and want to help me out, please feel free. As of right now, I don't actually know where my Mario is. Like, I see the secondary entrance and I see the midway, but I don't see the starting one. What the hell? Did I see it in any other level? Yeah, so, not entirely sure what happened here, but I now have no idea where my Mario sprite is. The only reason I even noticed is because I was gonna move it, because, like, I never move it, really. Like, after I set it, I kind of just go with it there. But I was gonna move it to right here so I could test the second half, but I don't... know where it is right now, and that's a really weird problem to have. So let me just exit out of Lunar Magic really quick. Okay. That was really, really fucking weird. I'm gonna turn the timer back on now. I swear I wasn't tripping on that. Like, it was doing that for some reason, and I have no idea why. So, the main reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted to move the start right here so I could test the second half of this before the 2.5 hour mark. So, now that I'm able to do that, let's go. Just gotta make sure that the rocks don't bounce up enough. Thought I was at the start of the level. Rocks definitely aren't coming up there. Now to figure out how to actually do this. There does have to be a way for this to be possible. At this rate, this could potentially just end up being a very short level, because I don't know if I'm going to have time to design a full second half of this. But I'd rather have a shorter level that's well designed over a long level that, like, hasn't been as heavily playtested, I guess. Actually, what if... So that seems like a very minor change, but I always like trying to introduce like all of the tiles that I'm doing like as early in the level as possible. That way a player is not just like caught super off guard, but like, what does this thing do like halfway through the level? So I think that'll work. And the reason I added the 1 F-Zero earlier in the level is because I wanted to add the 1 F-Zero very late in the level right here. Because that way you don't actually have to like juggle it off of this fuzzy, which is kind of shitty to do like super late in the level like this. So instead you should just be able to time it out, to do that pretty much. I don't want you to be able to just kill the chuck like that though, so what I'm probably going to do instead is this. I think this will work. Shoutouts to me at 1 hour saying that I was going to have enough time to do all the visuals for this level too. Because I don't intend on keeping this all concrete block. I do actually kind of want to make it like a cloud foreground. But I'm clearly not going to have time to draw all that out right now and do level design stuff. Dope. Okay. And then that background looks like it works pretty well, actually. Okay. So, good playtesters would be able to playtest this like a million times to make sure that it actually works right. I, however, don't have time to do that because I got a second section to make. And also, so I'm probably going to draw more of these clouds in the background instead of these ones eventually. But for now, let's just grab and the midway entrance is just going to be right here. I think I actually forgot to save when I got the midway entrance, but that's okay. So I think I'm 2 tiles from the bottom of the screen right here. So whatever I do is going to have to be like up here. Feels like it's about time to use another one of these bad boys. I want to keep it simple, I guess, in the second half. Still want to keep it focused on flow and stuff, but I don't want to necessarily focus as much on ultra fuzzy stuff in the second bit. This is actually a lot harder now that I just 1 F-Zero here. It doesn't seem like it would be, but you know, have to hold jump over this gap, which means you have to like re-grab it like that, which isn't actually really that much harder, I guess. Just one extra thing to do. I will be save stating through here because I am just kind of trying to get to the midway now. As I said, I wanted to be at the midway 2 hours, and it's now 2.5 hours, but at least I smoothed out this part. Yeah, that's way better than before. Because at least now, like, you don't have to worry about catching it until you're already, like, on your way down trying to throw it. And honestly, at that point, if you double bounce again, it's, I don't want to say it's your fault, but it's sort of your fault. This is still pretty difficult, honestly. Like, I'm sure if I was actually trying to beat this level normally, it'd take me a while. But can you cheese this if you aren't holding right on the wall, but still, like, brush up against it at the end? I don't know if you have the height for that, really. Actually, to avoid that, I'm gonna want to do... Shit, I forgot. I hate save stating in the middle of a level, honestly. It messes up so much. So I could just do this. And then there's like really no way you can get in there. Okay. Because I think this is gonna break if I save. Oh, maybe not? We'll see. I normally hate loading saves in the middle of a level, but maybe because it was paused it'll be okay? Okay, well. Did not load the way it was supposed to, so I guess we sitting through this. I just need to test this ending once, and then I'll be fine with it. If I am not working on the second half by 2:45, I'm just moving it over there and assuming that this ending is fine. Which is not something that I really wanted to do, but I need to make sure that I have a proper ending for this. Even if that means I end up moving the midway, I guess. Which I guess I'm not, like, totally against doing. Felt like that was a good spot for a midway. This feels fair, at least, so if I have to move on at 2:45, I think it'll be okay. Like, I think kind of part of the problem with this challenge is, like, it's expected that there's things that you would want to change, because most of the time you don't only spend 4 hours on a level. But I think that'll be okay. Come on. It's so hard to, like, playtest under timing. Like, the actual designing under time has actually gone really well, but the playtest under timing is, like, speed running playtesting, and that's the weirdest part of this, I think. For anyone that was curious and trying to do this challenge. Because, like, honestly, the design, like, when I've been designing stuff, I feel like it's gone fine. Like, it's kind of just felt like any other Lunar Magic stream so far. But I definitely have found that I take way longer on playtesting. Oh, that was an abrupt music change, but okay. Okay. Save state. We are getting to the fucking midway on this time. I'm not tweaking anything else in the beginning. Okay. Woo! Alright, and that actually worked out well. Exit. Don't. Save. Okay. We are free to start working on the second half. So I think this kind of obstacle is working out well, where it like forces a runoff, but then kind of stalling a little bit more. I can actually stall for a lot longer than that, apparently. This might be a decent compromise. I kind of felt like 4 might be a little much, but I think if I do this, it'll still force it to go right and then up and around, so it should still be okay. And then let's just drag that out one more. Okay. So, let's move this all over 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And honestly, I actually kind of like, I thought the layer 3 was going to be like rising a little bit more, but I kind of like that it's just at like the very bottom of the screen, because it kind of reminds me of the layer 3 tide, but with the clouds instead, basically. So I am pretty okay with all of this. Let's maybe move this over. Honestly, I think I can move this over. Do this again. I'm mostly just trying to see how far I can stretch out this first jump. I kind of need to just, at this point, make this like 1 or 2 kind of longer flows, so... Okay, so that actually works out pretty well. Takes up 15 seconds. And I'm going to be spin jumping up to about here. like it's time for a new sprite here. I know I typically don't add in new sprites this late, but I need kind of something else here. So, checkerboard platform. So good news, I think all of this is actually working the way I want it to. Because I do actually want this timing to be awkward and force you to loop around and ride this thing up from the very bottom. I kind of want you to, this part to be a little bit more just like stalling, sort of, which seems kind of weird with how fast the first part is. But it seems like it could be fun if you have to kind of be a little bit more meticulous here about how you like preserve your momentum and all that. Okay, so let's do this. How far did this go? 4.5? 1, 2, 3. So I've noticed my talking has like all but disintegrated in the second half, but that's okay. Alright, cool. So I actually force a little bit of a stall here. Yeah, thanks, Ruby. Have fun with Elusive. Say hi and pick him up, I guess. But yes, this is Bunbun 2. This is specifically a fuzzy level, so I thought you might enjoy that, I guess. um, and it's part of the 4-hour challenge by Atari. So don't get super comfortable with the mic. It is a lot better than it was before. It's okay. I'll have this, honestly, entire stream up as a VOD for Bunbun 2 development stuff, because as you can tell, I have a timer going today. But basically, I'm doing a 4-hour design challenge where I started design of this level 2 hours and 50 minutes ago, and I'm just trying to blaze through it as fast as I can. And honestly, I have a lot more of level done than I thought I was going to be able to have done. So I guess that's kind of cool, because I wasn't really expecting all that. Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far, honestly. I was pretty nervous about doing this because I thought I was just going to stumble for a couple of hours. But it looks like everything's going okay so far. Like, it's not obviously the prettiest level I've ever made, but I would be shocked if I was able to make a pretty level in, like, what, under 3 hours? I came up with a decent palette, I guess, and I'm pretty happy with that, but other than that, I'm not really expecting a ton. Okay, so... Well, thanks. I think the cloud aesthetic will look a lot nicer once I'm able to kind of flesh it out a little bit more. Because I want to use, like, these... I want to use the cloud that I kind of just put down, these ones. Because I designed the palette basically to be with all of the foreground looking like this. But as I started the 4-hour challenge, I realized that trying to draw out, like, intentional foreground was a goddamn nightmare. So I decided to just kind of go a little bit more basic and just do cement blocks for now. Honestly, I actually kind of like the way the, like, almost all cement level is looking, because I've never really done a level like this before. But I still think the cloud foreground probably looks a little bit better overall. No, now I'm just dropping all the frames. Cool. And to pause the timer because I dropped so many frames. Sorry, that was like over 1,000 frames that just dropped out of nowhere, but we should be back now. Alright, so I might actually... Yeah, so that was actually like my inspiration for this level, because I was trying to think of a fun way to use fuzzies that I hadn't seen before, and they're little cloud fuzzies. But thanks, Ruby. Have a good one. Have fun with Elusive. And I'll see you later, hopefully. No, that episode just started. I was wondering how I was getting through King of the Hill so fast. I feel like it's starting episodes and finishing them before I even have a chance to watch them. You know what's actually funny is I remember back in, like, the very beginning of me working on Bunbun World, I tried to use these brown swinging platforms because they've always been one that I've liked from Super Mario World, and I got a graphic error where when the platform was falling, the corner of it turned into a cloud, and it drove me nuts when it was happening, but it would actually be a sort of funny slash fitting graphical error for this level. I'm not gonna go out of my way to like break the graphics since they're already working, obviously, but I just thought that was kind of funny because most of the time you're not really like rooting for graphical errors, but I could probably put a layer of munchers on the ground right there. It's even visible. Oops. Alright, so slope one's not gonna work, but I don't think I even need slope